Oh, the American dream. Nothing seems sweeter than chasing your hopes and aspirations in the supposed land of milk and honey. But beneath this carapace of vast opportunity and adventure is the harsh reality that American life is expensive. So much so that in some cities a gallon of milk can go for as high as $8. Today, we're taking a look at 10 of America's most exorbitant cities that, if you didn't know any better, you'd think were built exclusively for the ultra-wealthy. Number 10. Los Angeles, California. At the epicenter of American film is Los Angeles, home to Hollywood and the iconic Beverly Hills. The city's dalliance with movie stars has made it ridiculously expensive. You only have to take a look at the housing market to get an idea of what I'm chapping about. This is a city of guilty pleasures, but of course, they come at a cost. LA brims with posh and ritzy neighborhoods boasting eccentric designs, a reflection of the affluent bohemian community that lives there. It's no surprise to see that the median price of a home here is about $823,000, almost 3 times higher than the country's national average. Oh, and if you drive an expensive car in Los Angeles, well, you better deepen your pockets, because the average gallon of gas is nearly $1 higher than the national average. But with a median household income of $91,000, which is nearly $30,000 more than the country's national average of $67,000. It appears that the rising cost of fuel and housing isn't a problem for LA's rich and wealthy decadents. Number 9. Boston, Massachusetts. With a vibrant community of international students walking the city streets, you bet that Boston has an insatiable desire for the finer things in life. The city has transformed into a colorful metropolis that spots some of the most eccentric restaurants, hotels, and malls in the country. The median household income here is $76,000, nearly $10K more than the national average. However, the large influx of international students has made rent and housing soar through the roof. In fact, Bostonians pay nearly 3.5 times the national average in rent, which means that more than 60% of their household income is directed solely to putting a roof over their heads. And as for those looking to buy a home, well, you'll have to part with no less than $700,000. But on the bright side, you'll get to mingle with people from every corner of the world and have an international experience like no other. Number 8. Arlington, Virginia. Located a few miles from Washington, D.C. and right across the Potomac River, Arlington has thrived due to its close proximity to the nation's capital. As Washington's population booms, residents working in the capital need to find a place that is not only comfortable, but also favors a fast and cheap commute. A mere 40 minutes away via public transportation, Arlington has become the go-to choice. Today, the city boasts a vibrant economy with ample career opportunities to take advantage of, especially if you're interested in working for the government. I'm sure there's nothing like good old Uncle Sam sending your check plus benefits. And this is needless to say, Arlington residents are also some of the most educated people in the country. About 47% of the county's tax revenue is allocated to the school system. In turn, the school not only boasts advanced educational resources and low student-to-teacher ratios, but its public schools are ranked as some of the top performers in the country. Today, Arlington commands one of the highest household incomes in America at slightly over $112,000, with a median price of a home being about $910,000. And as the saying goes, where there's government, there's money. Number 7. Seattle, Washington. Encircled by breathtaking mountain ranges and fresh water, Seattle is one of America's most transformative cities thanks to its booming technology industry. Arguably the Silicon Valley of the Pacific Northwest, this city boasts the headquarters of Amazon and, to some extent, Microsoft, which is located in nearby Redmond. Tech is where the money is at, and it's clear to see from the massive increase in median household income in the last decade, peaking at just over $79,000. $1,000, and with the median price for a home sitting in the highs of up to $800,000. Unfortunately, housing has become a major problem for Seattle, as the city struggles to handle the large influx of young professionals looking to advance their careers. Currently, the median monthly rent is around $2,600. That's more than 2.5 times the national average. Number 6. Oakland, California. Crossing the bay from San Francisco, you'll find yourself in the heart of Oakland, a burgeoning metropolis for bohemians who simply can't afford the insane rents in the 415. But not to worry, San Francisco is only a few minutes away via the Bay Area Rapid Transit. Nevertheless, Oakland also attracts its fair share of career opportunities and businesses. A number of notable corporations are based here, such as Pandora, Southwest Airlines, and Kaiser Permanente. Oakland is also a melting pot for diverse cultures to intermingle and share their culturally dynamic ideas. As a haven for artists and intellectuals alike, the median household income is about $80,000, with the average price of a home going as high as $840,000. Number 5. Washington, D.C., America's capital, is an eclectic city with so much activity to soak in. In fact, in the last decade alone, we've seen the capital's population increase by a mind-blowing 100,000 people. Lucrative government jobs are the main attraction for most Americans moving to Washington. But as people arrive in droves, it's taking a toll on the capital's housing sector and quickly raising both rental and home prices. And to make matters worse, a building law passed in 1910 restricts new developments to exceed a height of 20 feet, meaning that most housing properties in Washington only extend to 11 stories. And with prices of homes averaging $1 million, well, it might cost you an arm and a leg just to get a decent crib in the capital. Number 4. Brooklyn, New York. While hip-hop music has shone a spotlight on the less affluent areas of Brooklyn, the city also boasts a ton of wealthy neighborhoods that have raised the cost of living in New York's most infamous boroughs quite heavily. In fact, the median price for a home in Brooklyn is $1.3 million, nearly 4.5 times the national average. And if you compare this to a median household income of $94,000, you can see just how Brooklynites are paying these ridiculous prices just to own a home. What's even more alarming is that Brooklyn's unemployment rate is 1% higher than the national average at 19.8%. Top this up with grocery shopping, and it's easy to see why Brooklyn is one of the most cost-ineffective cities to live in. Number 3. Honolulu, Hawaii. Honolulu might seem like the perfect retirement plan, what with its wonderful sandy beaches, temperate climate, and an assortment of fun-filled activities and people. But make no mistake, this laid-back lifestyle comes at a hefty price. Look no further than the basic price of milk. A gallon of milk in Honolulu costs up to 2.5 times the national average, retailing at around $8.80. Grocery shopping is a nightmare, despite concerned efforts by the state of Hawaii to increase food production. However, most of the food is still flown into the area from the continental U.S. Housing prices are unbearable as well, with the median price for a home clocking in at just under $1.4 million. Compare this with a median household income of $80,000, and Honolulu quickly transforms from a supposed utopia into an uber-expensive destination. Number 2. San Francisco, California. Salaries in San Fran might be some of the highest in the country, but the cost of living in the 415 will surely rattle you if you have a brittle spirit. After all, when you're competing for food and housing with the most influential tech and financial gurus in the world, rest assured prices are going to soar. As a tech hub, housing in San Francisco is a nightmare. The median price for a home, for example, is about $1.35 million, while the median rent clocks in at about $4,000. Even with a median household income of $119,000, housing can turn lucrative paychecks into peanuts when you live in San Fran. And to make matters worse, San Francisco is surrounded by water, meaning that room for development is only available upwards and not outwards. Factor in a number of zoning laws that limit buildings to a height of 40 feet, and you can see why life here can cost you a pretty penny. And finally, number 1. Manhattan, New York. Of all the boroughs that make up the Big Apple, Manhattan certainly takes the spot in terms of living expenses, even with a median household income of $143,000. Expenditure in Manhattan can be stupendously high. And to put this into perspective, the median price for an apartment in Manhattan is $2 million, with rent prices soaring as high as $5,000. Prices for homes here are 5 times higher than the national average, and most homeowners in Manhattan are undoubtedly the 1% of the 1%. We're talking about investment bankers, hedge fund owners, and most of Manhattan's real estate moguls who have made their fortune in the finance game. And what better way to spend their hard-earned millions than by purchasing some of the most luxurious penthouses that money can buy? So, if you happen to live in any of these cities, or you're from another expensive city around the world, let me know how it is in the comment section down below. You know Mr. Luxury loves to travel, and I've got a lot of places I'd like to visit. As always, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some apartment shopping to do. As always, I'm Mr. Luxury. Pip pip to doodly doo.